This paper was presented at the JCT Traffic Signal Symposium 2025. Video coverage of this paper is provided by Highways News and sponsored by Mobius Networks, AGD, Smart Micro UK, TRL Software, Traffic Group Signals, AD Electronics, and 4-Way Consulting.
Okay, so Rotherham is a small town with big ambitions, and for those of you that don't know, we're located in South Yorkshire between the city of Sheffield to the west, Doncaster to the east, and my own town of Barnsley to the north. And I always like to point out to Mick that Barnsley is above Rotherham on a map as well as in the Football League table, ain't it? He loves it.
Can't argue.
In the autumn of 2023, the UK government announced its plans for drivers. And the Department for Transport invited local authorities to bid for a share of £20 million worth of additional capital funding called the Traffic Signals Obsolescence Grant. So we're just going to cover how we approached our bid, our vision and objectives in Rotherham, how the funding was assigned, project delivery, the benefits and our aspirations for the future. The bid was a collaboration with support from some external consultants to assist us with the bid documents. We drew on their extensive experience to add value and quality to our bid. We would like to extend a huge thanks to Mark Roberts and Andy Knowles for their help with that. The key elements of our bid was focus on the assets along the nationally strategic route A631, which is located between the M1 and M18. Incorporating improved infrastructure to support the application and development of the new emerging technologies. We set ourselves an ambitious 6 months rolling programme. So we were awarded $500,000 as a result of our bid, along with a further allocation of $96,000 from South Yorkshire Mayoral Combined Authority. I think Barnsley got £1 more and he got right monk on with that. We committed to using all the monies for the equipment rather than design consultants' fees, as we could keep all the design in-house. So we were already working up an asset renewal programme funded by Rotherham for delivery in 24-25. Additional TSOG funds would enable us to expand the scope of our programme and sites to upgrade, some of which were coincidentally located along the defined route, while also releasing previously allocated capital to help us deliver more benefits across the wider borough as part of an extended delivery period. As soon as our bid was submitted, we started speaking with Swarco, our contractors. They were actively involved in the planning and development of the works programme from the early stage. They gave us their input and advice on all aspects of the project, including resources, cost and delivery timescales resulting from the significantly increased volume of activity and orders to be released from a successful bid. We set an ambitious programme to upgrade 24 sites altogether, 14 sites along the A631, 9 funded by the Traffic Signal Obsolescence Grant, the rest funded by RMBC Capital. The A631 programme would run for 6 months with a completion date of November 2024, and in true Rotherham style, to you.
Thank you. I'll just say before I start that I've never really done any public speaking before, apart from 4 weddings and a funeral, and I got booed off twice, so thankfully not the funeral. Design choices, our preferred method of control is mover. We're still sort of rebuilding our traffic management and UTC system, and we are looking at new technologies such as Scoot 8 or Inflow. Investing in new signals infrastructure to make our asset ready for the future was a key driver for us and a focus for our ambitions for the borough. We were keen to try out new to the market technologies, and after consulting with suppliers and others in the industry, we opted to use the FLIR Trafficam AI detector along the A631 corridor. And we did that for several reasons. The detection zones seem really accurate, and especially at long distances, so ideal for your mover in loops. Each vehicle is proven to be detected, and that's even when you've got a platoon of traffic as well. The cameras will also provide us with a full view of the corridor, and once communications are up and working, that will provide us with remote access to them. And we also hope to be able to use them for count data as well. The equipment can also differentiate between different classes of vehicles, and so that we have used them for bus priority as well. Where we have got some bus lanes and bus gates, we've also used the AGD 650 stop line detector. These have been really useful. They're being well received by the bus companies, and they have helped to deter abuse of the bus lanes that we've had from time to time. We also use AGD on crossing detectors as well. We are keen to trial other forms of detection, and we'll keep doing that. Comms, our existing wireless comms network was largely obsolete and needed to be replaced. And of course, comms technology is quite fundamental to the overall system and critical to ensure optimal performance and management of both signals and the network. We've now got all the sites along the A631 corridor connected using a mixture of 4G, 5G, wireless and our own fibre network in places. And we use our own council network to back all those comms. Considering our ambitions to future-proof the asset for connected and autonomous vehicles, technology and monitoring, upgrading the redundant comms was identified as a vital element for all the sites to be upgraded, and we did that using TSOG funding as well as our own capital spend. So as mentioned earlier, we've initiated a challenging rolling programme. SWACO's early engagement was essential so that we could carry out duct surveys, engage traffic management companies, work with our own highways team to get permits and lane closures where we needed those. And we also secured resources to work continuously in Rotherham on our upgrade programme. These conversations meant that we could place orders with SWACO before any contractual price rises, and that saved us a few quid, so being good Yorkshiremen. Sure, Tom's deep pockets, that went down well. Right, just some video slides. So this is a junction near the M18 at Junction 1, the Morrison's Junction. It's only about 100 metres to the motorway roundabout, and it's a busy junction. We did inform all the local businesses nearby, you know, McDonald's, Morrison's, Gymnasium, Hotel, what we were going to do, and kept them informed and up to date as we progressed. This is just a dual crossing, a very busy one outside the Mason's pub at Wickersley, which some people in the audience will be familiar with. It's sort of steadily busy all day, and it's even busy at night time as well due to the local nighttime economy, which can be quite lively. This is a new crossing just off the roundabout, and to be fair, this one has proved to be probably one of our busiest crossings in the borough. Really well used. Bang outside a medical centre, and another one just across the road. This is a dual crossing, again close to the motorway. Some issues that we had here was the night before we started works, we had a fatality just in front of the arrow that you can see. So that wasn't a good start. And another crossing up at Brakes. It's a dual crossing with a bus lane. Now traditionally we did have some issues with the bus lane and bus gate being abused, but that's largely disappeared, so that's a real win for us.
It's working now.
Yeah.
Not to worry. Okay, so well, we fulfilled our objective and commissioned the last TSOG funded upgrade on the 29th of November 2024. We brought the project in on budget despite a few unforeseen and costly challenges, such as having to replace collapsed carriageway ducts, increased traffic management for sites and public safety, and acquiring road space permits for the strategically important A631 corridor. We now have an entire route where each site is fitted with extra low voltage, low energy, low carbon LED signals, each controlled using more dynamic and efficient mover system. We now consider the A631 in Rotherham to be a blank canvas for testing new technologies and methods of control. We did have a few lessons learned. We did have some concerns about the new technology. Would it be accurate, especially at long distances for the mover in loops? There were also issues with setting up the detection. It was a little more complicated than first thought. However, we called Fleur and got a visit from Sukdev and Nico, who came out to site and helped us set them up, and that helped us no end. This gave us the confidence that we had made a good choice. Similarly, Kieran and Dean from AGD made the trip to Rotherham to help us with the AGD 650s and the AGD 318s. On the balance of things, and although we looked at costs for each site beforehand, including TM, we reckon we could have engaged RMBC's highways team at the same time as we did with Swarco. It was only later that we realised we could only get permits for night working or needed impact protection vehicles. We had overestimated though on some sites, but got caught out on others, but thankfully everything worked out in the end. Because of these issues and tight deadlines, we had to move things around in the programme. In hindsight, we could have stretched the programme to run longer, but we didn't know what was going to happen with the change of government and any local authority cuts, meaning we could lose staff. Thankfully we didn't, because I'm still here. Anyway, that gets sent round to me every time it does rounds on Facebook, and for you non-Yorkshire folks it says, "Hey up, went red light shows on the osses," which basically means just stop when red light's red. So the benefits. As traffic signal engineers, we're often guilty of failing to promote and broadcast our achievements. Well, we have tried to shout as much as we can to whomever will listen about what we have achieved with this project. And from our in-track asset management system and some help with Pete Routledge, who I believe is here somewhere today, we found that we saved over £11,500 in energy, £11,500 in energy costs per year, which will not matter because British Gas will just cram their prices up again. And we reduced carbon production by nearly 9,500 kilograms. But we're going to put it in tons, but that sounds more impressive, so I left it. And at the time of writing, which ages ago, we've seen a 4% improvement in journey time along the corridor, even before we fully validated Mover. The 4% journey time saving was something we hadn't anticipated would be a benefit of TSOG, so that's quite impressive to be fair. This was proven independently when Paul Hutton from Highways News did some investigative journalism and asked INRIX to review before and after data. The monetary value of the benefit will be calculated once we've finished validating, which shouldn't be too long. And of course, less stop-starts means lower emissions. We'll calculate these savings as soon as we can as well. And of course, we were helped out by a lot of people on this project, so I'd just like to name some names. They all said they were going to buy me a drink in the bar later, but then I realised it's a free bar, so cheers guys. Sentimental there, I suppose. Darren Capes, obviously, at the FT for going with cap in hand and getting a big pot of gold for us. Sukdev and Nico for their time setting up the cameras. Craig Stevenson and Carl Bosworth at Swarco for their time putting together the programme. Ralph and Pete at Clearview for the drone footage. Kieran and Dean at AGD for their help setting things up. And Paul Hudson at Now Wireless for the comms stuff. To you.
So a couple of photographs from when we were doing refurbishments and one with a new job. These are what Jim sent round, I think, all around the country. So the one on the left is our youngest granddaughter Violet, who was one on Saturday. That was a refurbishment project, and the one on the right hand side is a new crossing not far from where we live, and that's our oldest granddaughter, Autumn, and she's 3, nearly 4. So the next job that we do, I'm going to get all 3 granddaughters there, all with the Rotherham United football kits on. So. We've also done a school visit and had some kids out to site, showed them what it was all about. We even let them put some commands into the laptop, which they found very impressive, and it went down really well. The school was really grateful to us, and they put it in their newsletter as well. So another good news story, really. As a result of the workload from TSOG, SWARCO were also able to take on a new apprentice and develop the skills of other personnel as well to deliver that TSOG programme. And we think this is huge for our industry as well, because I think it's a well-known fact that we are an ageing workforce. Some of us are getting close to retirement. Not Jim, because he's still only 26.
26, yeah.
Yeah. So we do hope that we've shown and demonstrated that targeted investment in new technology can help improve the performance of existing and new signals infrastructure. It can realise real long-term significant and sustainable benefits, and proving that you don't necessarily need to invest in hard engineering to achieve your objectives. So, and the sites that we have refurbished, they should be good for another 20, 25 years. And what a legacy to leave behind. Thank you.
All left to say is TSOG completed it, mate.
Excellent. A big round of applause, I think. I told you it was going to be good. So it's great to get a really good news story, and although I did have the privilege of seeing a little bit of that before, I think you did a fantastic job, and you're better as a double act.
You reckon?
Yeah, without a doubt. Questions? Got any questions? I've got one over here. If we can get a microphone to you. When you ask the question, by the way, if you can introduce yourself and say who you work for, just so we've got it on the video.
Just in case you don't know who I am.
Hi, Andy.
I'm Andy from SWARCO. You were talking about that people were then using the bus lanes in a much more disciplined way. Why do you think that changed from the work you were doing?
Because they didn't get a green light. Basically, they just sat at stop line for ages until they had to make a decision whether to. Unfortunately, some jumped, and others just kind of got back into the traffic lane and drove off. So
it's more the habit that they realised that they couldn't use the bus lane anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
No worries.
Darren's got a question down at the front.
Very quick comment.
Well, wait for the microphone.
Oh man, I never noticed that.
Just to point out that I've no idea what TSOG is. I've no idea whose grant money you've been spending. It's not mine.
Okay.
Let's just ignore that one then, and just ignore that.
Any more questions for Mick and James? Yeah, there's one upstairs. Thank you.
It's Trung from Surrey County Council. It's great that you're promoting the sort of before and after figures with the energy consumption, but I was interested in the carbon reduction. Mm-hmm. How did you calculate that? What was that based on? What was the measure?
That's probably one for Pete Rowley to answer, because it came out of his ImTrack system. So
Is Pete here?
Yeah.
Can we get a microphone to Pete up at the back there, and he'll tell us how they do it?
Sorry to put you on spot, Pete. I'll buy you a drink later.
That's very kind. Let's see how quick we tan the bar, and you might have to.
All right.
Like earlier on, there's a long answer and there's a short answer to this.
The short one, please.
That's what I was going to go with. Obviously, the government publish the figures of carbon from production of electricity. So we take the scope 3 and scope 4, which is basically how much it takes to get power to the roadside effectively. We can compute the kilowatt hours that is consumed by the equipment based on the Alexon codes, allow for what dims and don't, and then you can use that to work out from prior inventories when it say had a TSP with tungsten halogen heads through to being a PTC1 light, T-LED ELV stuff. And we can use that's how we build the before and after.
Oh, so it's primarily based on the energy consumption, carbon reduction, as opposed to materials.
Yeah, that is specifically what that output is.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Great. Right, if there are no more questions, we shall invite Darren to come up for the second time. And thank you very much, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, John.